Hello everyone. In this video, we will be going through the setup of React-based Chrome extension using react-app-rewired, which is an NPM package. You can use this to override webpack configurations without ejecting React scripts. What this package allows us to do is you can create a config overrides file like this, and you can write whatever config you want to change of webpack. Now you can define multiple entry points for your pop-up options and content and background page. What this will do whenever you will run your React server, it is going to create a watch folder, and you can load this watch folder as a Chrome extension, and you can see the changes live as well. So I'll just quickly show you that in source folder. Let's say if you go inside the pop-up, this is what we have. This is text pop-up script. Now, if I open this, you will see the exact same text. But let's say if I come here and change this to, let's say this is pop-up script and save this, you are going to see the changes live. And for option is page also, you can do the same thing. However, for content script, it's a bit different. You can still come here and say let's say live reload works or something. If I save this, your page is going to reload and you will see live reload works, right? But this is for this there are certain limitations how you will achieve this. So what I've done is I've written one extra script for this particular change to work, and the code for this is responsible for reloading the page, reloading the extension, and everything. So let's get started. I'll just quickly move these from here, and yeah, I already have. Let me minimize this. We don't need this. Now I have this folder on my desktop with the React Chrome extension, and what I'm going to do is I will be using create React app for creating this. So let's say npx create React app, and so the project is ready. As you can see, this is being created. Now along with this, we need a couple of more packages. So, and we don't need them as normal packages. We can install them as dev dependencies. So let's say npm install React app rewired. This is one, and if I can spell this correctly, React app rewired. Along with this, we would also need React app uh, rewire multiple entry. That is one. And there is one more webpack package that we need, which is filemanager webpack plugin, and we can install them as their dependencies by applying this -d flag. Now those packages are installed. Now what we have to do is we can go inside this package.json file, and we can see we have these React scripts which comes with the create React app. Now we can replace these with the script that we just installed. So instead of this, we can write React app rewired rewired start, and uh, I can do the same for build as well. And this for build as well. We don't need this eject. We don't have to do this, and same thing goes for test. So I'll just quickly remove these. Now, in order to override your webpack configurations, you have to create one config override file. So we will be naming this config hyphen overrides.js, and inside this we will be writing all the configuration that we want to override in order to make this work as Chrome extension. So we will start with writing some module exports. and this is where we will write the webpack configuration, and we'll pass config, which we will get from the webpack. And here, what we want to do is now we need to define our multiple entry points for our options and for our pop-up page. So let's quickly go to this React app, and I'll just quickly create one folder naming options, and inside options I would need one file. I would name this as options.html. So let's create that, options.html. options.html. Now, with this, we would need one more file, which will be options.js, options.js, and I will write one file where I'll be essentially writing my React app. So, options.jsx. Now, I'll just name this something different. So, let's say options app.jsx, and for this also, I'll just make this a JSX file. Now, what we want here is that you can think of this as an entry point for your React app. So whatever we have here, we want the same thing there as well. So what I would do is I would take that from here. Let's say I copy the whole thing and put it in my options.jsx file. Now inside this, we don't need these things. This is again something we need exactly the same because we'll be having our options.html, and we can remove this from here. This app as well, we don't want this. We do want this, and we want to import our options app file here. So import app from our options app, and inside this we will just create a simple React component which is going to render inside our options.jsx. So this is going to be very simple. We would just simply create options app, and we will return just h1 from here. So let's say options app. We can style this if you want. Style text align center. We can do this. Now this is done. We have to do the same thing for our pop-up page as well. Necessarily all the scripts. So I'll just quickly do that. So pop-up slash dot html. If I create this, I got this now. I forgot to put anything in the options.html, so I'll just quickly take that from our HTML file that we get with React, and I just copy the whole thing and put it in my options HTML page. Here I can write options page. So when we will load this extension, this page will have our options JSX injected, and whatever we will write in this entire options folder will work as a options React app. So this is how the structure will be. Now we will do the same thing for pop-up as well. So I'm just going to quickly copy these two and put these here, and I'll just quickly change the name. So I'll just name this popup.jsx, and for this one I'll write popup app.jsx. Now inside this I'll do the same thing which I did for options page. I'll take this, put everything here, then I'll just change this to pop-up page, and we also have root here. So this is what we will be targeting from here, and this would work exactly the same. Also, one thing in options page, when we are doing this, and we are importing options app. We don't have this app here. So instead of this, we will write option uh, op, options app. Options app. So this is what we are importing from here and using it here. Same thing we will do for the pop-up as well. So instead of having this, we will be taking pop-up app. Now this is nothing to do with the setup. This is all about React. So I just don't want to waste too much time on this because this is not more about the styling and working in the React is more about the setup. So I just quickly want to get to that pop-up app, let's say, and from here I'm getting this. So this pop-up app would be coming from this here, and yeah, this is something that I can use here. So yeah, so options and pop-up looks fine. Now, before getting into background and content, let me try to set this up. So I'll go back to my config overrides here. Now I want to define the entry points for these two. For these, I need to import that entry point package that we installed. So I'll just quickly go to that. Now I'll just import the multiple entry points, or maybe I'll just name it multiple entry plugin plugin and take it from uh, React app rewired rewire multiple entry entry. Now, in order to use this, what I can do now is I can create one more variable, naming it multiple entry, and start defining my entry points. So this will have multiple entry plugin, and inside this, I can pass a list of entry points. So one will be for our pop-up. So this will points to the pop-up pop-up page. Then we can define entry. So this will be coming from our source, then pop-up, then pop-up.jsx that we have here, and we have a template for this where we want to put this code. So we will have source pop-up and pop-up.html. This is where we want to put this file, and we will also have out path for this. So how we want to put this whenever we will create the build, or whenever we are working in the dev environment, how we want to output this file. So this is for that. So out path will be we want this as popup.html. You can choose any name you would want here, basically. We have to do the same thing for our options page as well. So I'll just quickly take this, change this to options, and instead of this, now what we would want is I want to use options and options.csx. Same thing goes for this. So option.html, and I would want this at options.html. So this is how it's going to look like. Now, what we can do is now after defining the entry points, we can use these entry points as inside this configuration. What we have to do is we just have to write multiple entry dot add multiple entry, and here we have to pass the config that we want to use. Now after this, what we can do is we need to define the same thing for our background and for our content as well. Now for background and content, it's a bit different because we don't have any HTML files associated with them. So what we will do is we will create one more config.entry here, and we will create. Now we will take all the other entries first. So because we don't want to change any of that, and we want to add our entries here. So we will have a content entry here. We can use multiple points, or you can use string as well if you have a single file. I'll anyways use a list of entry points for this, and we will have background uh, background here as well. Now because we don't have these files, so this is going to fail. So let me just quickly create these files. So content slash content dot jsx. uh, this is one. Apart from that, I'll have one more file which would be content app.jsx. Now again we have to do the same thing here, so I'll just quickly copy this. So now the entry of this content.js would be different because we are not injecting this in any HTML file. This will go to is specific to each application where you want to inject this. So we will define the entry points for this. What as far as the a simple component goes, I'll just copy this, put it here, and name this as content app. Sorry, content app, and I'll just write content here. I think I'll have the same thing in pop-up as well. Yeah, so I'll just write pop-up app. Now for the entry point, we just need to make changes. So I'll just take the basic structure from here, put it here, and for our entry, what we need to do is we need to define one entry point where we want to inject this. So as of now, what in whatever application that you will enable this application, this script will be injecting at the top of the page. You can make the changes based on your needs. So let's create an entry point for this. So I'll just quickly go at the top and just write entry point here. So content script entry point, and I'll just create an element div. If you want, you can give this an ID also. So entry point dot ID. I'll just use the name itself. So just put it here. I'll just make this camel casing. You can have this ID, and then what you want to do is you want to add this entry point to the DOM. So add the entry point. Now here, what you need to do is you have to select the DOM, go to the body, and then you can insert before the first element of the body, so that it can be seen at the top itself. So you just write content script entry point, comma, and you can select document dot body dot first element child. First element child. Now you can save this. Now what we need to do is we need to create the root, and then we have to inject it there. So let me just quickly import this content app. So I'll just take this content app and get it from content app. I want to use this here in this render, but we have first I need to create the root. So in order to create the root, you can just directly pass this here, and this will create the root for you. Now because we have already inserted this particular element inside the body, and we have created this root, now this will work. We don't need pop-up app here, although we need content app. So our content script is also set. We will do the same thing for background, but not the same, but we just need one background file. So I'll just write background.js. So we have a background file. Let's just say console.log uh, background page. So this is what we have. Now let's go back to our configuration, and we will write the entry point for these. So for our content file, what we have is this. We have a source folder inside which we have it. So let's go there. So from the current directory, we would go to source and then to our content, and then we only want to import the content.jsx because everything else is will be included in the content file itself. We'll do the same thing for our background. We can go to our background. You can add as much as file you want to add here. It would all work because you are using this as list. Now, after setting the entry points for this, what we want to say is that we don't want to split this into chunks. So we can change more configuration here, but let's come to that later if we actually even need to do that, because we already are setting up multiple entry points. Uh, Now, what we want is that when we when we run our server, we want these files to have a particular a path where we want to show these. Let's say if you are running npm run start, in that case, I want to create a watch folder where all the files should go, and that can be used as a Chrome extension. So that's what I want. So for this, what I'll do is I'll just quickly create one output configuration, and I'll just create a function for this. So let's call it get output config, and from here I'll get the configuration that I want for this application. So for this, what I'll be doing, let me just create this folder here. Sorry, this function here. I'm so sorry for that. Uh, Now here, what I need is I just create one, let's say, constant output, and make this equals to one empty object and just return the output. So it will always return an object. Now here, there are few things that I want to write. So the path that I want for watch would be this. So I just need to write this path dot resolve, and I need I don't want 2D resolve, and this will give you the base URL of the application. So I'll just write the name, and I want to add slash watch here. So it will create a watch folder if it's not already there. If it's already there, then it will just keep adding files there. Now, in order to use this path, we need to import this. So I'll just quickly import path uh, path uh, just like this. We can import this like that. Sorry, this is small case. Now, if I save this, then it should work here. Okay, I have this. So now we have our path set up. Now, after setting up the path, what we want to do is we want to also make sure that when we go inside this particular folder, we want to dump all the files from here only. So we just put one more parameter here. So it would be public path, and we just make this as it is. Now, uh, as far as the file naming goes, so what we want to do is whatever we are naming here in our entry point, we want the same file name. So let's say for all the content file that I'll have, I want to have a content.js bundle that I want to use. Same goes with background. So for that, what I can do is I can write one more property here, which is file name, and I can write name. So whatever you will write here in the entry point as your key will be used name for that particular bundle. So I want to use name.js for this. Now, this is fine for development because I want it to be in watch folder. But if I don't want it to be in watch folder, I can always come and write uh, something different for when I'm creating the build. Now, one way to do that is just checking in which mode you are running in. So to do that, we are going to put a check for production and dev. So let's say I'll create a method here, which will be is prod. Uh, or I'll just write it's is prod, and then inside this, what I will do, I will return if node dot process. Uh, it doesn't have to be caps. Node dot process dot. I don't know what's happening here. Just a second. Sorry, this is not node. This is process dot env dot node environment, and I can check if it's equals to production. I think it will give me session as well. So production, if that is the case, or for development, I can write is dev. So these are the two checks we will be working with, so that we can have a different setup for our build and for our development. We dot, yeah. So these are the two checks. Now, if I come down here, let's say to this. So what I will do, I'll just check if we are in prod. If basically if we are creating the build, then I don't want it to be in watch folder. So I can write output dot public sorry, output dot path is equals to path dot resolve our name plus build. So this will go in our build folder. Now coming down here, we have our output ready, how we want to output this. And then what we want is, after this, we want to add one more plugin, which is for our files. So what we want is when we will are done with our Chrome extension, there will be few things in your public folder, like your manifest.json, your logos, and whatever you want here. And we also want this to be moved to our watch folder and our build folder based on the use case. So for this, what we will be doing, we'll be copying the files from the public folder and putting them in the respective folders. So in order to do that, we are going to use one package that we have already installed, which was filemanager webpack plugin. So in order to set up that, what you can do is you can write config.plugin plugin. Now this will give you, this is supposed to be an array of all the plugins that webpack is using. So what you can do is you can create assign an array to this, and you can add all the arrays which already are there, and then you can add your own array of plugins. Now we will be writing a method for this. So let's say I'll just name this get file manager plugin, and I'll create a method for this. Now inside this we need to return the plugin. Now in order to use that plugin, we need to import that first. So let's import the plugin. So I'll just write constant file manager plugin, and here file manager webpack plugin. Yeah, so we are going to use this now. So let's come down here to this method and return this as new file manager plugin, and inside this we will have our configuration. So this accepts an object in which we have events, and in that events, whenever you want to trigger these events, so we have one on end. So when the build is done, so when we are done with the build, what we want to do is we want to copy few files. So we can write a copy method here, and we can say that we want from this source, which is public. From public, we want all the files to a particular destination. So we'll have destination based on the build process. So for our destination, if this is production, so if is prod, then we want the destination to be build, and if this is not, then we will have that in our watch folder. So you can write it like this. Now this will be returned, and if you want to delete any file, you can add one more here, delete, and here you can have a list of file names that you want to delete afterwards when the build is done, but we don't need this in this case. After doing that, so this is how you will get your plugin. Now after modifying all the configurations that we wanted to, what we want to do is we want to return the config. Now this will override all the configurations that you have, and uh, now what we can do is, for our dev server, we want a constant live reload, and we want our dev server to watch over all the files. So we are going to overwrite few dev server configurations as well. So we can write dev server like this, and inside this, as we have already defined all the entry points and everything in our webpack configuration, we don't have to do anything of that here, but I'll just have some minor, just one configuration change for our dev server that we want, that I'll put here. So let's say I have this function where I'm passing the configs, and I'll just quickly create this function here. Let's say now this is expecting config. We don't want major changes here, just we want to force webpack to have one property, which is write to disk true. So it will just keep updating our files. So let's say we just want to return, first of all the previous config that we have, and then what we want to do is that we want to add additional check for our content and background page, because we have these entry points, and using this we have already added check for these two particular scripts, but for content in background, we need to put some additional parameters to make that work. So we will have static here, and inside this we have path.resolve, and what we want is that we want to just specify on. So this should, so basically if you want to add watch for any of your external files or anything like this, like that in a project, then what you can do is you can have it like this. So the name, and then you will have source comma content, and you can have the same thing for background as well. So whatever is inside these two folders will be checked as well by webpack. Now after mentioning this, we have one more property, which is middleware dev middleware, and if you do that and say, write uh, write to disk, you can make this property to true. Now this is all we need in terms of the configuration overrides. I don't think that there is anything that we need to change. I think we are not using this is diff check, so I'll just remove this. Is prod is fine for us. Now coming back to our project, let's try to run this project and load this as a Chrome extension. In order to do that, we need to first create our manifest file. So this is our default file which comes with the React project. So we can remove this particular file and write our manifest for version 3 in Chrome extension. So what we need is first we need a name for our React app. So I'll just write React Chrome extension uh, boilerplate. Hmm. Boilerplate. We would write a description. So I'm not going to write much here. I'll just write a basic uh, boilerplate and we have to verify we have to mention the version. So version would be 3. Sorry, this is the version for our React app. So we can write 0 point or maybe 1.0.0 and we will have our manifest version. So manifest version would be 3. Right? We can write a lot of things like for icons and everything. So I'm not going to write all the things. I'm just going to copy and paste that, and I'll just walk you through quickly what we need, what we have. So let me just copy and put it here. So this is what we have. This to here you know that. Now in icons, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this icon. We don't need this. You can use whatever project you are working and you will have an icon for that. But I'm going to keep this 159 size icon here and I'm going to use this for all of these. This is only for demo. Now icons, we have background. Now in the service worker, I'm still writing background.js. I'm not writing this path because ultimately this will go inside a single folder when we will have the build and everything. So I just need to put that path here. So that would be background.js. In actions, we have default pop-up. This is popup.html. This is supposed to be what you have written in this. So because we have this popup.html, so and this is the same name that we are using here in our configurations as well. So whatever you will use as out path in your options in popup, you need to use the same thing in your manifest as well. So which is popup and options in this case. Now we have our content script. Now this is I'm just trying to run this on GitHub. You can put your application URL on whatever application you want to make this work. And this is all related to Chrome extension. This has nothing to do with the React-based Chrome extension. In almost every extension, you have to do the same thing. This is our content script that we want to load. This is web accessible resources that we want to load. So for GitHub, I've given this permission. Now in permissions, we have tabs, scripting. I don't think we need scripting. I'll remove this from here maybe later. And then we have storage and management. We'll be using this. And as of now, we have host permissions for 2 of the URLs, which is one is GitHub, obviously, and second one is our React server URL. So now we have these things ready. Let me just try to run this and see if this works or not. So npm run start. Yeah, something is already running in the port. Let me just see. Okay, now there is a problem. Add multiple entries, not a function. So let's just check that quickly. Uh, okay, just need to write this. I don't know why I wrote that. Config.plugin is not retrievable. Config.plugin. I think it's not plugin. It's supposed to be plugins, if I'm not wrong. Let me just check that quickly. Yeah, it is. It is supposed to be plugins. So just quickly write that here. Because there has been a lot of issues. Uh, should be an array. Uh, okay, so I forgot to put this. So in this copy, you have to put this as a list, and inside list you pass source and destination. So this copy is an array. Let's try this. Okay. Apparently there are a lot of issues. Create a server config is not a function. Uh, where's that? Dev server config. I don't see that anywhere. So it should be returning the okay. So so basically this is supposed to return a function. So this is how you can return the function. So it is almost writing it like you create a body of the function, then you write return, and then you copy the whole thing. So if you write this, this is actually exactly the same thing, writing that you can remove the body of the function, and because this is a single return statement that you are writing, so you can eliminate the return from here as well, and you can write it like this. So now if I say npm start, so it has started the server. I don't see the files are getting created. Uh, there's some issue, I think. Let me just quickly see what's going wrong into this. So what happened is that this add multiple entry is nothing. It is supposed to be at add multi entry. So I would write this and pass configs uh, as I was doing before. And now if I try to run this, I'll say npm run start. Let's see. So now it has started the server. There are few errors that we are getting, but we will see. So what this is in default in content.jsx. Let's go here. We have this content app was not found in content app. So let's see what we have named this. So there is no export that we have written for these. So let's write export default content app. I think we missed this in all the other applications as well. So let's write that. So export default options app, and we will do the same thing for pop-up. Default pop-up. Now, as you can see, that application is running fine, and if I go to this, this is what we have. So what we will do, let me just remove the extension that I already have, which is this one. So I'll just remove this, uh, and I'll try to add my extension now. So load unpack. It's on desktop, and I can see this watch folder. So I can select this, and it is saying manifest version key should be either 2 or 3. So let's see that. So if I go inside this and go to this manifest.json, uh, I have manifest version, and there should be 3. I don't see any problem here. Let's read this manifest version. I don't know why this is creating this issue. Let's see. So if I check the watch folder, as you can see, there will be a lot of files in it, but we don't need to worry about this because this is just all the changes that we are doing are getting synced on every save that we do, whatever file changes we save. So let's go to the manifest file here. Where to find that? I cannot see the manifest file. Uh, okay, here it is. So we can see like it's the old file for some reason. So let me just try to save this again. I'll just try to run the project again. Yeah, so this is loading perfectly now. I think if I go and check the manifest file, so I will have the new file here, which is this. So now if I go here in my extension and try to reload, it says option.html is not there. I think that is because we have named it options, I think. Yes, it's options. So inside manifest also we will name this options. uh, if I save this now, you have to understand that we are not syncing the public changes. If you want, you can do that. You can go to this configurations and you can add this here, and it will start watching your public changes also. But I don't want to do that, so I'll just restart the server. And when you restart the server, it will restart the app, and you can just try. So as you can see, this is loaded now. Now if I go and let me spin this. So if I go to, let's say, GitHub, just refresh this, I can see the content app now. Now whenever I want to make changes to this, and if I open this pop-up app, there are no styling, so that's why you are seeing it like this. Now, if you go to, let's say, popup.jsx or app.jsx, you say, let's try to test this. So I'll just put it here, popup app uh, live reload. And if I save this, then you can see it got updated because it ran our server again. I'll just do it from here. So let's say if I put three dots here, as you can see, this is what we have. Now, if I on save, this reload the server and you can see the changes here. So the live reroll is working, and the same goes with our options page as well. So I'll just quickly show you that as well. I'll go to the options page. This is what we have, options app. And let's say here in our options app, I'll say uh, live reload and save this. This is going to show me the changes. So the live reload is working for our options and pop-up. However, for content, we need to write one more script, because what happens is that if you go to, let's say, GitHub and try to inspect this, let me just put this at the bottom. So I'll just go to console quickly. You can ignore these errors from webpack. Now, if I come here and say live reload and save this, then our extension is checked, but you don't see anything here, no error or any message from here. And also this change is not happening. Even if I refresh the page also, I still see the old change. What I have to do is I have to come here and I have to refresh the extension, and then when I come and refresh this, I can see the change. So we are going to automate this process, coming here, refreshing the application, and seeing the change. And to see the change as well, we need to refresh the page also. So we are going to automate this entire process. So let's go to our app again, and we will create one more script, and we will create that in the root itself, and we will name anything you want. So let's say Chrome extension live reload. Now this will be responsible for reloading our content script. Now here what we want to write is that whenever we make change, our React app is going to reload, and whenever that tab reloads, we want to reload our our Chrome extension, and we want to also reload the page where the Chrome extension is injected currently. So let's try to get into it, and then we will try to understand what we are doing there. So in order to use the this, so let's say first we will try to create a reload domain. So what we want to do is we want to write a reload domains here, and inside this we'll create an array of this, and we'll have localhost 3000. This is our React server. Then we will have a reload tab key on. We want to keep track of the tab from which we are reloading. So we will use reload tab key. So this is just a constant that we want to use for our key name when we will save this in the storage. We will also have previous tab. We want to keep track of what tab we have reloaded previously, so that we don't want to keep reloading the same tab again and again. So this is for that, because if we are on the React application, then it will just keep reloading the same tab again and again, and we don't want to do that. So this is for that. Now what we want is we want to add a listener. So let's say Chrome tab. We want to add listener. That we'll have a function. We'll have a tab. It gives us three things. So one is tab ID. The other one is change info, and another one is tab. So after taking this, what we can do is we'll write if uh, change change info dot status is equals to complete, and we are not on and we are on the reload domain. So we don't want to do this on every page reload on any tab. We only want to do this when the reload domain that we have mentioned, whenever that page reloads, we only want to fire this only in that case. So we are just putting a check here. So we'll say URL and tab.url. URL. Now we do this, and after that, what we will do, we will write chrome.tabs.query query. We will try to get the last focused window. So window, if that is true, and also the active tab. So only that we want to reload. So in this, we'll have a function. We will get a tab array, or we will get all the tabs which are there. And in this case, what we will do, we will try to call this store API. So we'll have storage dot sync, and we want to set the tab ID there. So in this case, we will use our reload tab key. This will keep track of the tab which we want to reload. We will have tab array of 0. So the first tab that we will get there, we want to take that one, and then we'll have function. We are always going to get one tab in this case, because the active and the last focus window is it's going to give us one tab only, but just in case, we will do that. And let's say if there are any errors, so I'll write it runtime dot error, last error. You'll get it in this key. I just want to console dot error, console dot error, whatever that error is. So that would be chrome dot runtime dot last error dot message, right? And then what we want to do is we just want to reload the Chrome extension. So we will just simply write chrome dot reload, chrome dot runtime dot reload. So this will just reload the Chrome extension, not the page, just the extension. And in order to reload the tab, what we will do, we will write chrome dot storage dot sync. So we will get the value from that particular key that we used. So reload tab key, and we want to run a function. So in this, we will get the data whatever data we will have for that particular key. We so that because we know we are setting a tab, the entire tab object in that, so we will take it from there. We will write reload tab key, so we will get the tab information. After getting the tab information, if there is no tab information here, if this is undefined, that we want to stop, and if not, then what we will do, we will query this storage, uh, and we will try to look for the previous tab reload domain. So we want to check if the previous tab that we reloaded was React server, basically React tab, or the application tab, or not application but any other tab. So what we will do, we will put a check that if reload uh, reload domain dot find uh, and URL is tab dot URL dot includes includes the URL, that then in that case, if there is no data, so if we don't get any data here, so basically if there is no data, or if it's set to false, that the previous tab which we reloaded was not React server, then we would write this. What we will do, we will reload the tab as well. So we will first set this value to true. Basically, if we don't write this check, then what will happen is that on every page reload, whenever we will make a change, our React server will reload. And because it got reloaded, our Chrome extension will again reload the page, and it will just the loop, right? So whatever we are doing here is setting this value flag and everything is just to break that loop. I hope that makes sense. So we will reload the tab. If this is not the case, this one, then we will have one else condition where we will just simply reload the tab. Reload. We pass the tab.id, and let's say if we have the data, so if data is there and this value is also true, previous one, then what we will do is we will just set a timeout so that we can reset the value back to false, basically. And we don't want to do it right away, we want to leave a window, and it's not going to do too much delete. 500 is fine, 500 milliseconds. We just want to save this value again to false, so I'm just going to copy this and put it here and change this to false. So after doing this, what we need to do is we need to reload. We need to load this as part of background script. Now, if I come here and if I write this here, I can simply come and just start writing it here, which would be this. But now it will be present in our build as well. So I want to put a check for this. So what I'll do is I'll just create a constant, let's say background, and I'll put this equals to this value, this value, and let's say if I am in development mode, so let's say if I can write is prod uh, false. So if it's not prod, what I want to do is I want background dot push, and I want to add this particular URL. So this will be included in our development, but it won't be there when we will create the build. So I can remove this from here and I can just have it like this. So if it's prod, then it will be there, otherwise it won't be. Now if I stop the server, because we are not watching this file, this is the configuration file. So whenever you make changes to this, you should reload the page. Same goes for this Chrome extension live reload. If you are willing to make any changes to this file, you should either include this here to make it live reload, or you have to stop the server every time. So if I do npm run start now, this is going to start the server, and I can see the React app is started. Now, if I come here and see what we have for Chrome extension content script. Now, let's see if our changes are working. So I'll come here, I'll open this. Let me just put it like this. Let's say live reload test. Now, if I save this, this is going to reload that, but it didn't reload the page for some reason. So let's try to find out what happened here. Here, let's see. It became inactive. There's some sort of error which we are getting. Let me just remove this, reload this again. Okay. Registration failed, background.js. Okay, so this file is not recognized for some reason. Let's try to check. Now you don't have to worry about creating all these. This is not going to bring down your system or anything. This is just watch files. You can delete them whenever you want. We have this background.js, which should be having. Let's see. If I come here, I have the correct URL, and this is also fine. Now I think, okay, so because this is here, this is not part of the background reload yet. No, it shouldn't be the case, but let me try to put this. No, I think what we need to do is, let's see, that solves anything for us. No, it's not going to, because this, I can't say this because sometimes this just gives error anyways. This is not getting recognized, background.js. Okay. Now, let me just see this real quick. Hey, yeah, so sorry for that. So I just checked this, and I can see that in Chrome tabs update in my Chrome extension type reload. On update, this is a typo. It should be on updated. After saving this, I can remove this. We don't need this because this will be reloaded in the background, so we will have that here there anyways. We don't need to explicitly define that. Now, if I save these changes, I would need to restart the server. So I hope you can see this. So I'll be running npm run start, and when I run this, it should restart the application again, and I should be able to see. I'm seeing the same text still, but let me just make changes. Okay, this is what I have. Let me just make changes to this. Let's say type reload works or something. Works. Now if I okay, if I save this, this is going to reload and everything. Yeah. So this is working fine now. Now the same thing goes with the background page as well. So let's say if I open this, I can see my background page, and I'll open the background JS. I change this to, say, live reload test. If I save this, this is going to show me this. Okay, background with live reload test. So as you can see, this is reloading live. Now, because we have this watch, we have all these files generated for it. You can ignore everything. If you want to create a build, you can just simply stop your dev server, and you can run the command npm run build. So this is going to create a build folder for you. Now what you can do is, I'll just quickly show you. You can remove this extension from here. You can load it from your build folder now. So if I go to, let's say, up this, this is the one. Now, if I go to desktop, uh, this build, so inside this, I have all these files which are related to my extension. And as you can see, I don't get all these things because these are just chunks which are being created because we are making live changes. So we don't need to worry about this. In the build folder, you will get these files which are your background, options and pop up. If you want to delete something while creating the build, as I've already shown you, that you can come here and delete from, use this file manager. So when your build is completed, you can write a list of file names that you want to delete at the end of your build. Now, if I select this, it will open here. Now, if I reload this, now this is our Chrome extension. It's just working as it was working before. You will have all the data. Obviously, this is not live now because you have created a build out of it. So, but you can, yeah, you can see everything which you had in the app. So pop up app live reload. So everything is the same. It's just now it's a build. So you can use this. You can create a zip out of it. You can use this for publishing and everything. Now all you need to focus is on your scripts here, and this will be created. You can write all the React code that you can write in a normal React application, and it will all work fine. What you can do is in let's say git ignore, you can add the watch file also if you want. So you just have to write watch, it will be added. But this is nothing to do with the setup. This is just normal git stuff. So yeah, I think this is it. I just wanted to share the setup process with you. If you have any issues, just write it in the comments and I'll try to solve them as much as I can. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. Thank you. Bye.